There are many different ways to assess learning, and assessment can come from different sources, including the teacher or the students themselves. When teaching remotely, it's really helpful to use the digital materials to mark students' work quickly and for students to self-assess. For example, after every 2 units of Optimize, there's a progress check, and you'll see these symbols in the Digital Students book next to each exercise. When a student clicks one of these, the exercise opens, they can enter or choose their responses, and then click Submit to check if these are correct. If they made any mistakes, they can click Check Answers to see which answers were right and which were wrong. They can then click Reset Activity to try again. The students can also assess themselves using these exam skills boxes. At the end of a unit, if you're teaching a live class online, you could invite students to open their Digital Students books and do this self-assessment individually. When the students are finished, as a whole class, you could vote on which area they all want to practice again. Let's imagine your students choose to practice listening for important information. They don't feel confident about this skill and want to try it again. First, ask them to go to the right page. They should revise the Exam Skill and Optimize Your Exam boxes. Then, give them homework to try using these strategies again with the same type of listening exercise in the same unit of their online workbooks. When they open Unit 4, they will see a listening section with 3 parts. Just like in their students' book, this activity focuses on listening for numbers and spelling. This is this activity. The students listen to the audio and select or enter their answers.
Hiya! Welcome to today's Brighton Past and Present Tour. My name's Gary, that's G-A-R-Y, and I'm your guide for today. And this is Carol.
When they click Submit Answer, they'll see if they were correct and get a chance to try again if they made any mistakes. This is where logging on to the online workbook as a teacher makes assessment really easy. When students do an activity in the online workbook and click Submit, this sends their answers to the teacher. You can easily see all the students' answers in one place. You can also compare different students' marks and see whether they tried an activity more than once. Just select the unit, then select the section you want to look at, and you can see which activities they completed. You can also check their first attempt, highest attempt, and latest attempt. Automatic assessment is really helpful and can save teachers a lot of marking time. But it's what you do next which really matters. For example, the results of an automatic assessment can help you decide to do more or less practice of a particular skill before the students take their exam. For more formal practice of exam-style tasks, you can also use the ready-to-go tests in the test generator. You'll see complete tests for every unit, plus a progress test for the first half and the second half of the course, and an end-of-year test, which covers all units of the course. Every test is available at a standard level and a higher level if you have quite a strong class. And all the answers, audio recordings, and audio scripts are provided. Most of us are familiar with using tests like this when teaching in a normal face-to-face setting. But when teaching remotely, it's a little more complicated. We don't know if our students will be able to print the tests, for example. And how do we manage the timings and prevent cheating? This is a difficult situation, but there are a few things that can help you manage. Ask parents to help manage timed test practice at home. Make assessment a regular part of teaching, so it doesn't create a sense of extra pressure which can make students want to cheat because they're afraid of making mistakes. Talk to the students honestly about why it's important not to cheat and how it will affect their exam if they don't do real practice tasks now. And use the on-screen timer during some activities in live lessons to see what the students can produce when working to a time limit. You can open the timer from the digital presentation kit by clicking this symbol. Select how many minutes and how many seconds, and click Start. When the timer is finished, you'll hear this alarm. Of course, assessment is not just about tests. Our students also need feedback from the teacher or their peers on specific activities during lessons. We've already seen how this works in the online workbook. Now let's look at an example in the student's book. We're going to look at an example of peer assessment. That's when students give each other feedback instead of the teacher. Here, the students learn useful strategies for the picture discussion task in their speaking exam. Then they do a practice task. You could put students into breakout rooms to practice this task. Put them in groups of 3, 2 students to do the task and 1 student to be the examiner. After speaking for about 3 or 4 minutes, the examiner should give the other students some feedback based on the strategy they just studied in the Optimize Your Exam box. All 3 students can then talk about what they did well and what they want to improve. At first, some students might feel uncomfortable giving or receiving feedback from other students. But peer assessment is a very useful part of learning, so it's important to make it a normal part of your course. We can learn a lot from people who have a similar background and goals, and in an exam preparation context, assessing other learners' work can help students better understand how they will be assessed in their real exam.